Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, indeed. Welcome to the Newbcast Podcast, a gaming podcast where we talk about different things. We pretend to be professionals, or do we? My name is Miss Michelle Jean, joined by the typical crew. Don't shake your head at me like that.
You're not supposed to see.
What do you mean? You guys, okay, when I'm doing all the announcements and all the shout-outs to get us going, you do realize I continue to see your three faces the whole time.
Yeah, but you can't hear us.
Guys,
it's perfect.
Just so you
You
know,
have no idea what any of us were counting about.
We had a very long conversation about, like, various subjects.
It's true. I'm
I
still trying to determine whether or not Hippo is on a bed right now.
Yeah, I am. This is actually, like I said before, you know how last week or last podcast, it was like moving and stuff, and it was a GIF. This is actually my wall behind my bed, like a headboard, and this is actually not real. It's a pillow, and everything below that you can't see. I'm actually sitting on a bed, and I'm spooning PK.
And
Welcome
that's
to
the
the podcast,
podcast,
everybody.
guys. Everyone, thanks for watching. Jesus.
Good day, everybody.
God.
See, you
Thanks so
can't
much for being
derail
here.
if there are no rails to begin with.
No,
Exactly.
Jesus, no kidding.
Perfect. This is the best way to start a podcast.
Oh my God. Well, I guess if we're going to start off a podcast, why don't I welcome Mr. Universal Branding to the show. Hippo, welcome to the show.
How's it going, guys?
What's going on? What's new in the Hippo lane of life?
Monster Hunter World.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much the only thing besides We Happy Few. Just those two games.
Fair.
I may have a problem with Monster Hunter World.
Look, that is a legitimate problem to have, I think.
That's not a problem at all.
No,
I only have 30 hours in it.
problem.
I started
Only
with
30?
3 characters. Yeah.
See, that's nothing.
The-
You're fine.
Last podcast we had, you had 30 hours of No Man's Sky, and we had some great criticism on it. So you had great criticism
I have
on
opinions.
Monster
I
Hunter World.
definitely have opinions. I have many bullet points. I wrote them down. I have to reread them because as soon as she hit live, I forgot them. So that's why I wrote them down.
He came prepared.
See, No Man's Sky. I have 40 hours in No Man's Sky. So since the last podcast, I put 9 extra hours into it. But
Okay.
I think I'm done. I think I'm done for a while at least.
Well then. Oh, well, it sounds like you've been productive then. Well, that's...
I don't know about productive.
Look,
But I was able
just
to-
go with
It was
it.
very important work.
Okay,
It was
okay,
all for
fine.
the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah,
All for the podcast.
Yes.
I only play games for the podcast. Actually, that's sort of true. I played We Happy Few for the podcast, and I definitely played Monster Hunter World for 30 hours for the podcast.
There you go. Which,
Sacrifices are going
since you bring up We Happy Few, I kind of had to issue a small correction on myself for the last episode of the Newbcast, where we were talking about both games coming out, and I was just like, oh, clearly Monster Hunter. For whatever reason, I was distracted, and I didn't realize which game We Happy Few actually was. Like, it hit me after we went off the air. I'm like, shit. I know what game that is.
What did you think it was?
I thought it was just a smaller indie title that really didn't mean shit, and that's why I was
Well,
just like,
it used to be a small indie title. And
Yeah, it was supposed
That's
to.
fair.
Box release.
We will get into it. We'll get into it, but please continue.
no, I just thought it was an indie title. It's just like, whatever. Clearly, Monster Hunter is the way to go. As Capcom is a AAA title. Oh wait, that's right. That's We Happy Few. That was the one that they've shown off twice at E3, and both times like, ooh, that looks like a very good game. So I realized it
I have
after fact.
opinions.
I realized it after fact. I screwed up. I'm calling out the fact I screwed up, and yeah, I'm glad you put in 30 hours of it, I guess.
Look at this
I put
journalistic
in
integrity.
8 hours. 8 hours into We Happy Few, and 30 in Monster Hunter World. Okay.
Well, look at it this way. Based on some of the stuff we're talking about tonight, journalism integrity has to exist somewhere. I might also do it with this group.
Wow. I feel like the first 5 minutes of this are just a microcosm. We don't even have to give everyone an outline. We have an outline. I mean, we have notes. Well, Hippo has
I have notes, but I have to reread them because I forgot them.
There's a segue. Yeah, look, segues are going to be a thing because we're just going to lay them all out there right away for everyone. Like, here, by the way, guys, this is what we're doing. Here's a little secret, everyone. We have a template. We know exactly what we're talking about, and we also know how often we get derailed. Yeah, don't listen.
I read the show notes.
Template. Yeah.
I read over the template a couple of times, and then you added a bunch of stuff, and then I was like, oh, I should probably get informed about these things because some of the stuff that you wanted to talk about, I had no idea even happened.
You know, if we tell everybody that it's just a giant ramble and it has some amount of cohesion, they can be proud of us then. They can be like,
yeah,
wow!
you did stuff.
There was a plan.
That was a really good point that you made. Mish, how did you segue that over there? And now we have to go the other way around. This is risky.
Well, look, here's the thing. Like, we can still do the ramble and whatnot, and our ability to at least get to the points, like, oh, they came prepared, they were well informed, and that is, yeah. Let's not joke. Look, here's the thing. That this whole thing is how we pretend to be the professionals, or do we? I don't know. Elijah, welcome to the show.
Someone actually asked me for the shirts. It was like the rest of it was like, there's a monster on his shirt. Yes, there is. Well, you guys were hearing about how my week's been going. It's not been fun, but I do have an interesting find. Because as you all know, I am a master at finding dead games.
Yes.
Also, before I get to this big reveal, I actually finally got to try live streaming because I had enough time last night to spend like an hour poking around with Fear 2.
Okay.
It's still terrible, but I at least, had some fun streaming it. I need to get some of the settings in NVIDIA worked out, but hey, there was audio, there was video, and you could actually see me playing. So, big upgrade from before.
I mean, what else is there in a live stream? The game?
What did people see the game?
They did see the game.
Yes.
And they're actually seeing the upload of it to YouTube now. I'm actually surprised to see people watching. It's like, you have more patience than I do. Because I'm still amazed I got through as far as I did with Fear 2. But yeah, basically the vote was Blood Knights or Fear 2. People wanted Fear 2. So, there were some people who want Blood Knights, so we'll get to that at some point. I don't know if you've heard of that one, but basically...
I'm not.
Imagine a C-grade Sci-Fi Channel original movie. Now make it a game about vampires in a twin-stick shooter, but with melee combat. It's But, yes. So I found a licensed tie-in game that doesn't completely suck. It is kind of falling apart towards the end, but it's Activision published. I would not be surprised at all if it was really rushed. It's apparently the last game of the studio, and believe it or not, they worked on the Harry Potter games up till, like, The Prisoner of Azkaban, which makes sense for it plays the same. And I found out about this because it actually got some decent reviews, which was very surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, the movie, the game.
Say that title again.
That?
Wait.
Please do.
The movie, the game.
The movie,
I'm
the game.
already-
Oh, those are my yes.
Yeah, it's based on the terrible movie. And here's the thing: most of the cast came back. Tim fucking Curry is the narrator for this whole thing. He came back from doing the audiobooks.
Did you say Tim Carey?
Curry. Sorry, the Jim Carrey and Curry got that's.
I was like, wait a minute.
If Jim Carrey and Tim Curry had a baby.
Oh dear.
And like Carrey sounds so out of it. Sometimes he just sounds like himself. Sometimes he sounds like he's trying to be Count Olaf. When he was supposed to be doing Stefano, he doesn't even do an Italian accent. He actually sounds vaguely like a Norwegian trying to sound American. The amazing thing is, even the cringy parts kind of work for it. But it's like a hybrid of a point-and-click adventure game and Ratchet & Clank. That's the surprising thing. Because, like, there's actual boss fights and everything, and there's different ammo types and different gadgets you're using. You actually have to solve, for what would be a kid, might be an entertaining puzzle. For an adult, there's not a lot there. We pretty much blaze through it, but there's, like, actual effort. you find letters around the environment, and every single one of them is attributed to a word, and it explains the definition, just like in the old books. There's actually more love for the books in this game based on the movie than the movie itself had. And if nothing else, Curry is having a friggin' blast. Like, just, you can tell he knows that this is not going to be an impressive thing, but he's going to have fun with it regardless. So, yeah, it's been weirdly okay. And it controls like a 90s FPS, by the way. You right-click to jump and everything, but it works. And they have this weird unified control scheme where it automatically swaps you as you need to. Like, these people had an idea about what they were doing.
Are you saying that it was good?
It was acceptably interesting. I wouldn't call it great. I would say that
Acceptably interesting.
Understand, some of this voice acting is really bad, but it actually works because this is a series of unfortunate events. Everything is supposed to suck in the world of Lemony Snicket's a series of unfortunate events, so it actually works. But here's the weirdest thing. Do you know who the second best actor is besides Tim Curry?
Huh.
The Baby. The Baby actually has the most emotion and like genuine sounding like an infant sounds that you could have in there. Whereas Klaus sounds like he had a lobotomy, and Violet's brain, there's at one, during the ending, you can tell like the actress was getting tired of doing this, so she just basically starts yelling her lines. I'm not even kidding here. She's like basically just sort of like, yeah, here's this. I need that object and that object. Get it for me now. I know it's supposed to be because the aunt's house is falling apart, but it really doesn't sound like that. It sounds like she's just so done with this shit. And it all somehow works. And I got it for, and yeah, the other thing is,
I don't think I can play that, but well done.
Yeah, right? That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, well,
a video will be coming for this because just, it's surreal. And here's the craziest thing. It shares assets with the console version, but they're completely different games. Like, seriously, the different studios, all of that. There's so much weird going on here. I haven't found a game with this many layers of, wait, what? Since Star Wars The Force Unleashed. It's surreal. Sorry, anyway, I diverted things enough. You can now proceed onward.
It was interesting, at least.
It was acceptably interesting, in fact.
I just appreciate that this sounds like another niche thing that Tim Curry's involved in, and I feel like there's a whole collection that you could just spend an entire month just engaging in and have your Tim Curry addiction sated eventually, and this is now on that list.
Agreed.
It's beautiful.
Agreed. So, to talk about other things that you've delved into for a month, Dizzy, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi.
What's been going on in your neck of the woods?
In my neck of the woods, one, it's been ridiculously warm, and can I tell you, I miss so desperately having central air.
Oh,
It's been the...
I completely understand that.
Oh my goodness. It's awful. Or being in a basement. Maybe I kind of just wish I lived in a basement. Is this where that stereotype comes from?
You lived in a basement once.
I know, and I miss it for some reason. Which I shouldn't. You and I both know. I should not. But that cool, wonderful, probably moist basement worked out well.
Not.
Moist? How do you feel about the word moist? I don't remember.
I'm not a fan.
It brings to mind the Weasley kid from Recess. I forget his name, but he always described things as moist. Moist.
I'm so glad that I don't know what you're talking about right now.
You haven't seen Recess?
You haven't seen Recess? What?
That was one of the defining movies of the 90s. Or not, well, it was. It did have a movie.
It was the 90s.
Defining animated shows of the 90s. Come on.
Back when there were Saturday morning cartoons.
I lived under a rock when I was younger. I live under a rock now.
You just moved to a bigger, better rock.
I'm going to find another link for him.
I need cable.
Wow.
Yeah. The last couple of weeks have pretty much been trying to beat the heat and figure out some games to play after Octopath. I have finally gotten to a game that references my poverty gaming roots, and
Oh.
I got Horizon Zero Dawn at like $20, which makes me super
Nice.
proud.
Nice. There you go.
And that game is absolutely fantastic. I miss a good action RPG. I remember Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning being absolutely amazing and getting like a quarter of the way through it, and now I feel guilty and want to go back.
Mhm.
But I won't, because Horizon Zero Dawn is just so much more elegant. I feel like I've just
I hear
spoiled
good
myself
things.
now.
Oh, well, I mean,
I hear very good things.
yeah, I've always heard good things.
Yeah. Well, and who doesn't like robots? I like robots. Lots and lots of
Animal
robots.
robot. I like giraffe robots.
I would like to see a platypus robot. Personally, that's what I'm hoping for. I haven't
they
gotten
have
too much for.
Beaver robot?
Sorry?
Do they have beaver robots?
I certainly hope so. I mean, I've been able to hunt a bunch of different wild games, so, you know, I've got turkeys and boars just sitting in my inventory. I've already increased my inventory like 10 times larger than the initial part, and I'm just barely past the starting zone, which should probably say something about how much of a hoarder I am.
If only No Man's Sky was like that.
Yeah, except I haven't expanded any slots on there because it's a pain. It was a lot easier to do, and I like it when there's a system that like gives you some sort of framework to work with that isn't like a slog to take care of, you know, inventory issues, you know? It's just like, oh, okay, you got some cash over here, you have a couple of items that prove that you've been far enough along in the game where you should know some stuff. Here, have the inventory slots that might be useful for you for everything else. Like, I'm okay with that. I definitely don't feel like No Man's Sky gave us that opportunity, but that's going to be a reaction 2 weeks ago.
I think. Did you actually play it?
No Man's Sky, I played a little bit more since the podcast,
Oh, okay.
but not much, to be honest with you.
Not 40 hours.
Certainly not 40 hours, not even 31 hours.
Oh, okay. Well,
Have you at least played 30 hours of a series of unfortunate events? It's the hot new game. I'm so excited.
the hot new game that has been out for like 15 years.
Yeah, it released like for Windows XP. Here's the it actually even runs well on Windows 7. Sorry, shut up.
Pleasantly surprised.
I'm glad that you found a game that's good. Good.
Ooh.
Hey, anything Tim Curry has its own level of respect. I think that's all right. There is something to be appreciated in anything Tim Curry gets his hands on. That's all I'm going to say, having not played the game.
Actually, that was a weird thing with Activision. They even had like Bruce Campbell in the Spider-Man one as well by Treyarch. They just like they kept getting these really big actors doing like tutorial and narration.
I mean, can't be any worse than Patrick Stewart in a certain, you know, RPG that we all know.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. Anyway,
I was hoping we would hear him so much more, but spoilers that shouldn't really spoil anyone. I have
Right.
been playing Persona 5 on my streams,
I've seen this.
and I must say,
Run it.
yeah, I need to. I really do need to. So I took a look at the world record for speedrunning Persona 5, and as it turns out, if you want to be the absolute best person at speedrunning that game, you only have to beat a record of 17 hours and 6 minutes.
Only.
That shouldn't be bad. I mean, for a game that's got, 160 hours of play, there's a lot of filler in there.
160 hours?
It's something wild. You can go through and do a lot. And of course, me being the indecisive person who likes looking at all the different options of play, you know, you got like 14 different things that you can do on your off time when you aren't going into dungeons and actually fighting. And then you have the decisions that you're making while you are in the different areas of the game. Like, yeah, I mean, 17 hours shouldn't be bad. I can do that in a night.
That's a little bit more than a night.
It depends. Are you in Alaska? I will have to move to Alaska, then I can do it in one night. There. Done.
how are you going to be streaming with a internet connection?
Satellite.
Hey, the main cities in Alaska, like
Juneau,
and
Anchorage.
Juneau, they have good. Well, do they actually have good internet though?
They're getting decent enough internet that they actually.
We have been so derailed.
I mean, if Hawaii can have good internet, Alaska can't be that far off, right?
But Alaska's like the last of the wild. Watch Life Below Zero on Netflix. Just saying.
Yeah. Alaska just doesn't care. It's like the Draugr in Skyrim. It's away in its own little secluded place. It won't bother you if you try to bother it, but it will get up in your face if you try to bother with it.
I feel like these people are living in Skyrim.
See, I'm really intrigued by that statement. I'm really intrigued by that statement. Please continue. Skyrim, how?
Oh, you've never seen what's above the Arctic Circle? Okay, so Life Below Zero is a Netflix series that features people who live and work up above the Arctic Circle.
Yep.
So these are hardcore people who, some of them live alone, some of them have been mauled by bears and somehow managed to survive with broken pelvises and stuff. And they just literally live. Like, that's all they do. They don't really work so much as they're like, oh, hey, we don't have food. We should probably go kill a deer or something. Let's do that. And they raise a family doing this. And they have like actual like cities, but they like rarely get stuff in from the lower 48. So everything that they have up there is pretty much provided by themselves. They have to get food, they have to get water, they have to do literally everything. And it's always snowing, it's always cold. Like, the only difference is that the rivers are liquid or ice. That's pretty much the only difference.
So wait, so you're saying that these people in this area, if you attack a chicken, no matter where it is, they will come at you in a raving mob?
Yes. They say, hey, that's a valuable animal!
I imagine you really love their sweet rolls up there then, too.
I mean, I tried to do a Skyrim playthrough, and my mods broke it. Unfortunately, yeah. But when I was fisting chickens, I was being yelled at by the entire town.
I don't know why.
It was in public, too. So, I mean, it's not like... I wasn't doing anything weird.
Yes, fisting a chicken is very normal. Yep.
Well, I was doing a melee playthrough, so I didn't use a sword or anything like that. So I had to fist everything.
That's a likely story.
Mm-hmm. Look, there's clips of it. There's video evidence.
I'm sure there's fan art on DeviantArt too.
Yes, there's.
And if there isn't, there will be very soon.
Right.
Rule 34, right?
Yeah, exactly. Is this where I get to talk?
Persona 5 was great. It's great so far. Definitely looking forward to wrapping up the first palace and getting into content that I haven't done before. Because I've tried to play Persona like 3 times and I stop, and then I don't want to go back after a month later because you.
Oh my gosh, I know, right? I have Persona 2, Persona 3. I've got the Golden on the Vita. I love every one of them. I never get past 2 hours.
You say the Vita?
Yes.
The Vita?
Vita.
Just.
I will fight. This is a hill I will die on. I call it a Vita. It is ingrained.
Well, you will die on it.
Yeah. So
I just like, what is the Vita like a health drink that you enjoy, or?
See, that's it. When they named it that, I was like, oh, so it's like PlayStation Life. I get that. Vita.
I mean, it's a fair point, but that's not what they say. It's like, oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Some of the companies out there,
we can
like
have it in
Huawei, like nobody knows how to pronounce it, or Asus, or Asus.
It's not Asus.
What about Adidas?
What?
Adidas. Apparently, you're supposed to say Adidas Adidas. That's how you're supposed to pronounce it.
No.
So say
Ooh.
lots of sneakerheads. I don't know. I just wear Chucks, so I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I can't seem to find the brand names that I want at Target, so.
Oh God,
Also,
really?
really good on this.
And then you have Jaguar versus Jaguar, although that's just an enunciation thing.
I've never heard Jaguar.
I've
That's
yeah.
Jaguar?
That's a first as well.
You haven't heard Jaguar?
No, I have not.
Were they going for the Jaguar?
Well, you haven't been hanging out with enough British people because they say Jaguar.
That still actually is more understandable.
Yeah, I
I
would
don't know
agree.
where they get the Y.
That said,
I had a conversation with Toby about this stuff
Oh,
earlier
Lordy.
today in the Discord. So
that said, have you played anything else?
That's been pretty much everything.
Okay.
Of course, with these big RPGs, it's hard to spend too much time doing anything else. I mean, I had a couple of moments of Dead Cells, and Dead Cells is getting a lot of attention, which is
Yes.
fun.
Yes, it is. Funny you should say that, because yes, it is.
Segway.
Yeah.
Not the like Segway that you drive around on like a bike,
No.
but with
Yeah. Right.
Can we have an animation for that? We need to get an animation for that, where just a segue just.
I can't provide
Okay,
animation. but I
Can we
can
get some
provide
like
memes.
cartoon characters of us riding Segway?
If you know an animator, go for it. Oh my goodness. We'll skip over what I've been playing because it's always the same thing. It's Guild Wars 2, and we'll go right into that segue into why Dead Cells has probably gotten that much attention lately. So, plagiarism, guys. How do we feel about plagiarized work?
I know Elijah has something to say about that.
Elijah does.
Can you tell?
There's a little bit of it's the straining that really just adds to it. Like
I see the bulge.
it's just
Recorded.
bursting.
Okay, I will put it very simply. This fuck had to plagiarize someone. I went through 6 drafts and still did another one trying to get my thoughts right for Witcher 3. 7 total drafts, including edits across multiple drafts. And this shit just... He's now even said he won't actually admit to doing it, even though he's been caught.
He doubled down. He doubled
Yeah.
down in his video that he deleted because he's a fucking... Anyway.
And that's the
Yeah,
thing that
right?
blows my mind is that he's trying to fight this. Like, he thinks he's going to win. He is beyond delusional.
So,
Sorry.
now that we've prefaced that, let's set the stage for people that don't know what's going on exactly. Recently, an IGN editor did a review of We Happy Few. After that was posted, a YouTuber.
No, it wasn't. It was. Wait,
Or
was
no,
it We Happy
I'm
Few?
sorry, not We Happy Few. It was Dead Cells.
We have
Yeah,
it
it
was just the default for everything, actually.
Yeah,
Look,
it
we
is.
can talk about that after this.
Yeah, right. No, it was the Dead Cells. I'm sorry, Dead Cells.
Correct.
So he posted his review for Dead Cells, and a YouTuber by the name of Boomstick Gaming went to go check out the review because he appreciated the game. He also did a review, and then he realized that the review was an almost verbatim copy of his review.
It was like high school plagiarism. To
Yeah.
the point where it's like, I'm gonna change 2 words in this sentence, and it's gonna be the exact same thing, but nobody knows.
Yep. And this
Except for
Yeah.
everyone knows because they're not stupid.
Yep.
It wasn't even college level.
No.
Like,
No, it was high school. It was high school. I did that shit when I was in high school. It's like, here's some bullshit that you wanted me to write.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is like, so Boomstick Gaming went as far as to post the side-by-side of his script, which was posted, a week at least before the IGN one. And yeah, you can see how much verbatim it was.
I think it was 2 weeks that it was posted, and then he did his thing.
It might have been, yeah, that sounds right. It was a significant amount of time. Enough time to, I don't know, copy the script. Right? So IGN is like, whoa, this isn't good. They pull the review, they do a investigation, and within a day they determined that it was indeed plagiarism. They removed everything from the site. They fired this writer. And
they did a marvelous job.
Yeah. First, let me just say, I know that I have picked at IGN for some stuff, but their response to this situation, bravo, guys. You did a fantastic job in responding to this and in a very professional manner. Like, it was top notch.
Yeah. It was quick. It was effective. It was as serious as it needed to be made.
Yep.
And there's never a situation like that where I'm going to say, hey, I trust IGN more. Because the fact is, they still hired somebody who was going to plagiarize on literally their first article that they put on IGN. And part of the research that was done afterwards was a realization that some of the other work that he had done had also been plagiarized. So there was an opportunity to catch this person in the act, is what I'm seeing before this all happened. But after the realization, 100% they did the right thing.
Absolutely.
Well, no, go ahead, Michelle.
And let me just reiterate, like, break it down too. Like, when we're saying that he was copied, we're talking about sentence structure, word usage, the timestamp. Yeah, the timestamps. Like, it was so close to being the exact same review. It's indisputable. Like,
and it hits on every single point.
Yeah.
At first, you could be like, well, maybe they just got the same words, or, they kind of like had the same thoughts.
These are literally the same three adjectives. No.
Yeah.
No, it's exact over and over and throughout the entire thing. He straight up says the words that Boomstick wrote.
Yep.
And here's the other thing is, but some of his plagiarism wasn't even like a written thing. He's taking it from video. So, he had to watch that video more than once to transcribe it.
Yep.
He actually put more effort into plagiarizing than he would have had to have actually writing the review. That's just astounding.
Well, it really is. I mean, it really shows the effort that he put into that versus just doing his own work. One question that's come up, and I know I've seen it in our chat, and I've seen it in other places too, is like, why would anyone even plagiarize? Because you're cutting corners and you're trying to get something out fast without a lot of work that you had to put into it. You're trying to reap the benefits of it and just have it done. And based on the research that Kotaku has done, Kotaku has found that this was not his first round of plagiarism. There have been previous reviews of different games where this guy, I forget Philip's last name, but his increative ability to write something original about a game. And I almost feel like the reason that he's going after YouTube videos perhaps is because if you were to type in a phrase from a review, it's going to show up in Google search results, right? And you go, oh, this person at Rock Paper Shotgun or Joe's gaming blog or whatever is going to show up in the Google results, but it's not going to show up in the results for a YouTube video. The script doesn't transcribe into the Google search results. So it was easier for him to get away with it.
Well, and he admitted in his video that his apology video that he deleted like an hour or two later after posting, he admitted that he had come from YouTube and that he was being like, oh yeah, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing very well. I came from YouTube too. And it's just like this condescending,
oh my gosh,
big-headed move.
Yeah. Also, I was very entertained to find that apology video was monetized.
Yeah, he didn't actually not one time did he apologize.
No. I mean, come on. Not even Logan Paul monetized his apology video. This was a fucking low. And I was just, when that was put out, I'm like, wow, that is, I'm glad he at least deleted his video because he at least, by doing that, acknowledged that he fucked up.
And that nobody was buying it. It was drowning in downvotes. It was like being forced down. Everybody was trying to just block it off.
Well, the thing is, on YouTube, even if you get like negative if you get thumbs down, it still counts as interaction, and it still shows to people.
Oh,
so
yeah.
People who don't understand YouTube, they're like, oh, well, I'm gonna dislike this and no one will ever see it. And it's like, actually, you're helping them. Even if you dislike this video, if more like a lot of people dislike this video, it shows interaction. It's gonna show this video to more people.
Which is a great point. I mean, I don't know how many videos creators where I have heard the phrase of, remember guys, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit a thumbs down and tell me why. Why? Because especially the people that didn't like it. Yeah, if the people that thumbed down and leave a comment why their video sucked, that's 2 pieces of interaction, right? So circling back on his deleting the video, I mean, it really just showed that video was not going to swim. Like, it was a drowning piece, and the best thing that Philip can do right now is disappear from the face of the earth for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't see him working in any kind of journalism or any writing job ever again.
Nope.
Yeah, there's no reason to trust his work. There's no reason for any journalistic community to decide that his material is so good, even if it's pristine, to take a look at all the other people who have ever written an article like that every single time to make sure that this guy isn't plagiarizing again. And the fact is, if you're going to have your brand, if you're going to have your name on the work that he does, at this point, that's what you have to do. So he could go literally do his own thing, which nobody's going to really respect at this point. If they have, any recognition of this situation. Or he goes into a different field. Like, those are the options.
Sorry, I just...
Maybe he could do some Let's Plays. Maybe he could do some Let's Plays and then actually play the game that he's reviewing. And then everybody would know.
No, I see him doing Let's Plays of other people doing Let's Plays, because that's just more easy. That's just easy.
I have seen... sorry, Michelle. I have seen people on Twitch watching a Let's Play with no commentary and then commentating over it. It's a very interesting thing.
That's interesting.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go,
no,
please.
You completely derailed my thought. I don't remember what I was going to say, but that is very interesting.
There were rails? Remember, at the beginning of this, we said there were no rails.
This is Planet Coaster, and it's an unfinished roller coaster.
Oh my gosh, this is Roller Coaster Tycoon, where it goes halfway, and all of the people going to my park die.
That sounds like
because I just didn't finish it off. Although at least they all go into a pool. Like, I'll put a lake at the end of it, and it's wonderful. Segue done.
So just try to replicate a Westworld scene.
Pretty much.
I don't want to spoil things because I know there are people who are still wrapping up season 2 of that.
That's the thing. Okay. No, I think we can continue to beat Mr. Ed here, but I truly think that at the end of the day, I think we all agree that he was wrong. He's probably never going to get another journalistic style job ever again. Maybe McDonald's will hire him for a while, so he's got something.
Can I point at least one positive out? One positive.
Yes, please.
The YouTuber in question, and name of the channel is completely flew my mind, which is
Boomstick Gaming.
Thank you. I knew it was something like a shotgun. Boomstick. He has got so many more views and subscribers. And
yes.
If you're going to get plagiarized, this is the way you want it to happen.
Yes.
Which you don't want it to happen, but he's had a meteoric rise now, and if he keeps up with that, maybe he bounces back from this way better than he was before. In which case, good for you, dude.
He's definitely like
chill about this.
Oh, definitely.
So I'm hoping good things happen there. So if nothing else, this idiot has ensured that this actual genuine content creator can do something good.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, can we appreciate? Yeah, and he's been doing this for like 10 years now. Not to sound like an ad for him. By the way, you should totally subscribe if you think that this is a good idea.
Chill for Boomstick.
Yeah, right.
On YouTube.
This is not a paid advertisement. But this is this is what gaming is about, is people in the community who spent time honing their craft and getting to know in detail the work that they're doing. And he's one of those examples of somebody who hasn't really had this level of attention brought. And now that I'm looking at him, I'm like, okay, he's been working on this for a while. This stuff looks pretty good. I'm going to check out some more of his videos.
Which is really interesting because just to put a little light on Boomstick here, he started off doing it for a hobby 6 or 7 months ago now. He was let go from his job. He's like, well, let's just do this more. Let's see if we can make something happen from it. So this is kind of a blessing in disguise for him, right? Because when he called out Philip for this stunt, right, he's like, look, I don't want him fired or anything. I just want to point this out. I just want to, get the recognition I deserve for the work that I've done. That's all he wanted. Now, if you've ever paid attention with anything related to journalism, if there's plagiarizing work ever done in writing, your head's on the chopping block. You're done. There's no coming back from it.
Yeah.
But the fact that IGN was looking to work with him now and collab with him.
That would be amazing if
Yeah.
they fired whatever his face is, don't name him, just that dude.
Yep.
And they hired Boomstick. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. That would have worked out really well for the guy. So.
Oh yeah. I would credit IGN even more than I already do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I may stop giving them a hard time for a short time. And call out to the journalistic the journalistic research that was done in this whole situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Multiple sites went digging for facts, presented the facts. Here's the situation. They did a good job. A lot of sites have done a good job. I want to see that more often from a lot of these gaming sites because Lord knows we haven't seen that lately. But good job on this one.
Well, it's kind of like when your boss comes up to you and says, hey, this one thing that we were talking about, just wanted to let you know about it. And then for the next week, you're like, oh my God, I need to make sure that everything's perfect. All of my sources are now going to be cited. I'm going to make sure that every single time I do this thing, it is pristine. So you're going to see that little blip for a while from a lot of the same sites that are talking about this.
Yeah.
I wonder how long that blip's going to last. And
3 weeks.
I wonder if it's going to change the minds long run.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3
Wow.
weeks.
So 4 weeks from now, guys, let's make sure that we are catching up with these people to see if there's plagiarism going on going forward.
Right. It's so true.
Who knows? Maybe you'll be the whistleblower.
I think Jim Sterling brought up a very good point when I forget, one of you guys said something like why did the editor release this if they didn't fact check, if they didn't check if this was a plagiarized article? But the thing is, there's so much content on YouTube and reviewing games and stuff like that, it easily slips by.
Yep.
However, fans will see that. Like, there's so many people. The industry is not that big. So if you badmouth or you plagiarize, everyone's gonna know. Your name gets around.
Right. I think the only way so I think the one thing that's only going to work for this guy, right, is if he apologizes for what he did, acknowledge that he did it, make it a point to say that he will never do it again, and then do so. But he's probably going to have to do it on his own dime and prove it to start with. Like, no one's going to hire him, and that makes perfect sense. But if he can prove that he didn't, that he can make himself a better person, then maybe. But
He's not even on step one.
No, he's not. He's not.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
Well, he doubled down on his lies. That's the problem.
Well,
is
that's
that
true.
Now with this video, he was like, I just want to give my side of the story, and then
He never told
rant
us
about stuff.
He never told his side of the story. There was no story.
No, not in that video, at least.
Yeah, so he's got to acknowledge it, right? But and you're right, he's not at step one. So it's going to be a long time. I don't think there's going to be much recourse for him for quite some time.
Nope.
Nope.
Not at all. And another one bites the dust. But don't worry, there are plenty of other people who are willing to take his place. And IGN had a review remade for that in, 2 days?
Yeah.
So clearly there are people out there ready for the content, ready to go, and interested in making it happen, who have integrity.
There's so many content creators who are more talented than some asshat copying somebody. There are people who would literally do anything to write for them, and they are talented individuals. Really good content creators who have been there for a long time, like Boom. And we have this dude just copying people on smaller channels on YouTube because it's easy and no one will know. He got away with it with 2 other articles apparently. So
Yep.
Well, what are they gonna do? They can't doubly fire him.
No. I think it
You will be double fired.
Double fired. I think the other thing, let the last thing be known, as far as beating this horse is, I think it was the only recourse that IGN had to do was let him go, and everyone was being very cautious with him because there's a legality to it too, right? Plagiarized work could go to court, and if let's just hypothetically say Boomstick did that. I'm not a lawyer, but I would like to think that he's got a pretty strong case with the evidence that he presented.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to agree with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was the only other thing where it's this is probably why he's not going to see another journalistic job. It's not so much because he's a horrible person or whatnot.
Liability.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. It's not. There are certain worse people in the world, but there's.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But this is pretty scummy.
Yeah.
By its own standard.
I don't know if it really warrants death threats that he's been getting.
Yeah, no.
But that is
how the
100%
gaming
true.
industry.
No death threats.
That's how the gaming industry has. Well, not the industry, but the gaming culture is with everything. It's oh, you made Mass Effect wrong, not the way I like it. I'm gonna kill you. What? What? You don't like a story, so you're gonna send death threats? What? Just that kind of stuff.
What a time to be in game narration.
Right? People are actually threatening his family, which is okay, what the hell are you people doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's so many things in gaming where I think we have to remind ourselves that at the end of the day, it's entertainment. You think about all of the different issues that we've seen with stuff like DLC, day one DLC, where it's not really good stuff, but you hear stuff like that. You hear death threats about why didn't you give me my content day one? How dare you? Why are you putting this stuff under loot boxes? This is disgusting. I hope your family perishes. And I'm oh my god, this stuff is disgusting.
Yep.
There is limitation and reasonability in everything. And you know what? I hope that, the person who plagiarized finds their way out of this and finds good for themselves. Like Boomstick said, that person has a family, that person has a child, and you don't want to see bad things happen to people, period, because you recognize that there's a lot more than just the immediate content that's in front of them.
Yeah.
But
human. That's the problem with this whole internet stuff right now is they just want to ruin you, drive you into a ground. They don't want to ever see you happy ever again, right? So
just the reason why certain people will play Twitch streams with certain people, right?
Yep. I'll let you segue.
Oh no! This is your topic, sir. This is yours.
Topic.
Yes.
I brought it up because I didn't even know. I checked my Twitter yesterday, and it was just everyone raging about what Ninja said.
oh yeah.
I was what happened? I was asleep. I woke up late for the first time in 3 weeks, and then while I was asleep, the internet exploded. It exploded. Well, Twitch exploded.
Twitch exploded.
That's the internet to me. I don't go to any other site. I go to YouTube occasionally, and then it's Twitch. and Twitter. My Twitter feed was just like, rah, 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 like all the way. I just scroll, like click the mouse, boom. Rah, 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 rah. So yeah, that I have a bunch of bullet points for this because I've been thinking about this since yesterday. I didn't really tweet about it just because like I didn't want to
So
my opinion doesn't matter.
So what was the original action? What was it that started this firestorm?
Okay, so for some reason, Polygon was interviewing Ninja, and I don't know exactly what happened, but they asked him why there's like no females on his stream, and he said that he doesn't play, he doesn't stream with other females because he doesn't want his fans to like say, oh, he's trying to have sex with them. There's like something going on, and he doesn't want that getting back to his wife. So that's why he said that.
Mm.
I don't know if did you guys even like look this stuff up before? Because
I did look it up. I don't feel like I can comment that much because I'm mostly on the YouTube side of things. I'm not on the Twitch side, so I do think it's absurd that he's not allowed to be around any other film streamers because of worrying. If it was actually an issue between him and his wife, that would raise a lot of alarms for like the trust levels. Because I've met couples that are like that, and they seem to be on thin ice. So that would concern me. Beyond that, I'm actually going to kind of bow out of most of this stuff.
Yeah, it's self what do you call it?
Self-inflicted.
He did it to himself. Yeah, it's self-inflicted too. He's doing it like willingly. His wife didn't ask him to do it. He did it himself. But the question I have, and I've seen a lot of people actually on Twitter, not actually as many people, but why was this question asked, and why is this news? Why did Polygon even post this other than, ooh, Ninja said something controversial, so let's get some clicks out of it?
Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the first and most obvious piece to it. It is a very easy way to get attention on what's going on. And Ninja is, at the top of the food chain on Twitch at the moment.
Yeah.
And so when you're the king of the hill, people want to take you down. And it's an easy way to do that. On the other side of things, I think that it does bring to light some very important questions, which is, like, when you are at the top, how are you bringing other people up? And if you're bringing people up with certain limitations, like, I'm only going to bring up other people who are men with me, and I'm not bringing up women, then it's like, okay, well, why is this? Is this something that has a misogynist background to it, or what's the purpose behind it? And that's a very difficult thing to determine. Whether, like, however Ninja answers that, there's going to be the fundamental, but at the same time, you're not giving this opportunity to women that what's going on with that.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think it's hard to say, like, what's in his mind, like, why he would say that to begin with. Like, if that's how you want to go about things, fine, that's your channel. But why make it public? Why would you tell, like, a news organization that's going to publish this for your clickbait bullshit?
Yeah.
Like, why would you tell them that? I honestly, like, to me, it just doesn't seem like he thought it was a big deal.
Well, that's just it. He didn't.
Exactly. He didn't think that it was a big deal. And I see a lot. I don't really have an opinion on this, by the way. Like, I see a lot of arguments, and some I agree, some I disagree with, but there are counterpoints to each argument, and they're all not wrong. Like, there's every single argument has, like, some shred of truth, some, like, yeah, I understand that, I get that. It's really difficult to make a real, like, opinion so much as just watching and being like, I don't know what's right or wrong, but for me, I'm gonna just play games with my friends regardless of gender or whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, it's not
affecting me.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is that there's a lot of nuance, and there are so many different unknowns. We're getting a little snippet into one piece of Ninja's life. Could this be more of a relationship thing that's going on? Like, he's made a personal decision on that? Absolutely. And if we're suddenly in that guise of it, then I can say, hey, I could understand why all of this different stuff is happening. If it happened because there was a situation where he's thought through this and discussed it with some of the friends that he has who would stream with him that are women, and they decided not to do it, well then their decision-making factors are completely separate from any of the conversation that's going on with how we're dialoguing this. Because we're seeing it in a one-on-one situation, it's so hard to put it into the
Context
world
is
of
key.
Ninja. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
The thing is, sorry, Michelle. 1 second. I'm just. The thing is, he actually did do the thing that he was saying that he didn't want to happen to his friend on stream in front of thousands.
yeah.
Like, he actually said that.
I think what it really, so my thought is that his thought is he was trying to protect people from drama, and in essence had created drama, right? I don't think that he gave much thought on to what this may look like in the grand scheme of things, and I think there's a larger problem that's going on here. Yes, this is systematically not a great thing to have go on. He should not have said, well, I'm not going to do this because of this blanket. It was blanket statements, right? I think the bigger issues we have to look at is the culture that seems to think that it's okay just to assume that someone is trying to sleep with someone, or, I'm infatuated by how many people are so involved, or like so invested in who another person is sleeping with, and oh my goodness, that person's with the person, I can't be with that person, or whatever that weird.
Well, that's a huge thing with females on Twitch.
Yeah.
Is they don't really want to disclose if they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or what, or if they're taken whatever. They don't want to disclose it because it can harm their channel.
It's perceived that it will harm their channel.
Right.
And I think there are some good counter examples of that, but that fear of even the possibility is enough to not do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there have been channels where, you get threats and stuff like that. I linked to Dodger's rant. If you guys don't know Dodger, go check her out on Twitter. She talked about it when her and Strippin got together, and they announced it. One fan hired a PI to tail Strippin to see if he was cheating on Dodger. And then a lot of fans were not only harassing both of them, but harassing Strippin's family.
Yep.
Like, Dodger broke down on a plane because people were being dicks to his family because they wanted to just be together.
Right. And it's not just that, like, another streamer / cosplay. I have a friend that does cosplay and streaming, who was talking about that too. She had actually just posted this morning. I stumbled across it where she goes, yes, I have a partner. I have for many years. No, we don't want to talk about it because my partner doesn't want to is a private person. So leave them alone. I'm me. Let's worry about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's fair enough too.
And I think that kind of calls out the real problem.
Share.
Yeah.
No, I definitely see a lot of arguments on Twitter, and there have been backlash to certain arguments, but it's all blatant blanket statements. Words are hard, you guys. So it's like, look, if you blanket statement a whole group, a whole gender, like if you say, oh well, all these weak men, and it's like, okay, well, are you really saying that? Are you like making people feel like they can't ally themselves with you?
Yeah,
because of how you're like responding,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Feels very when Harry met Sally. Hashtag old people references.
Yeah,
I understood that reference.
I don't get that reference. I don't get that.
Wow.
So there's a statement in the movie that men and women can't just be friends.
Okay, that I've heard. Yes.
Yeah. There's also a piece about pecan pie. Pecan pie. but that's not relevant. That blanket statement gets challenged, and they go back and forth and try to figure it out the entire movie, and it messes people up. Mm-hmm. And any statement, especially like gendered statements like that, I think can, because it's in that charge of like, how do relationships work? It's a whole giant confounding mess, and a lot of people just don't want to deal with it. It doesn't help that Ninja is upfront about his relationship and his wife, and that he has to put things in that guy's in that scenario as well, because he's got a personal life that he has to consider. Mm-hmm. And now he has to consider it publicly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, he was already pretty open about what like he does with his life and with his wife and like their day-to-day activities and stuff like that. But I really just don't think that this even needed to be out there in the world.
It's sort of like one of those statements that you didn't need to give.
It seemed like an off-the-cuff.
If anybody was asking, they weren't asking that loudly, and answering actually raises way more questions.
Well, and here's the question is, the question has been posed, how do you answer it at that point? Because an answer is going to be important, because no answer says, oh boy, we can think whatever we want about this. Yeah. So he got caught in a rock and a hard place, and he made an answer that didn't work out particularly well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, ultimately, it's his channel. He decides what he wants to do with it. That's fine. People can decide if they want to support him or not. I checked his stats before the show. He's still gaining like 5,000-10,000 people a day. So, it didn't hurt him in any way. And this is like a thing, like what happened with Logan Paul. Even when he was being a just total asshat, he was still gaining like thousands and thousands of followers every day.
Yeah.
It's just publicity. People don't care. You just get the wrong kind of people, depending on what kind of community you're trying to make. If you want that kind of community, then you're doing a good job. If you don't want that, well,
call it. Yeah. Gosh, I think this is a good spot for a break. Okay.
Yeah.
But everyone that's in the chat, don't go too far. The Newbcast will return in a short bit. Go get your break and drinks and stuff in the meantime.
We Happy Few and Monster Hunter to talk about, and all the other bullet points over here.
Is it actually We Happy Few? Or is it Dead Cells?
I played it.
There you go. The Newbcast will return in a few minutes. Yes.
That timing.
Guys, welcome back to the Newbcast Podcast. Got that jazz going. Sorry, I love this jazz so much. It's the remix. It's a jazz remix from Final Fantasy VII, and it's so good. Which, by the way, that serves as a reminder that I actually did hit up OC Remix. I actually found a lot of my OC Remix tracks that I had. I'm like, aha!
Oh
That's
my
right.
gosh.
I was supposed to remind you to do that.
Yeah.
I was supposed to create a playlist. Both of us failed.
Yes. Good job. High five.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
Good job,
I
guys.
have to say,
It was in 3D.
So that was. I mean, do you still use Winamp?
Yes.
That was back when.
Really?
Dude, yes. Here, hold on.
Are you totally
Ready?
whipping the llama's ass?
I am. See, here, we'll just, sorry, Elijah. There you go, guys. Winamp.
Right on his face. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, I still use Winamp. Did you guys ever hear the reason why I still use Winamp?
No.
So, Winamp has a visualization feature, and you get the little, like, bouncing bars for the equalizer. I used to have that as an overlay over my cam, so, like, it was bouncing at the bottom of my cam for me.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was the thing.
Rest in peace, Winamp. You were so nice. You were too good for this world.
Totally not whipping the llama's ass now.
Well, I still am, at least, so. Okay. Anyway, guys, welcome back to Newbcast. on to some other topics. I know we had some games to talk about and some lighter topics to discuss.
Yes.
Wait, we talk about games? We talk about video games?
Yes.
No,
yes,
hey, no stealing taglines from other podcasts.
I didn't.
Sometimes.
I just paraphrased it.
Plagiarism, sir. Plagiarism.
Just look at it this way, folks. You are now officially in the goofy season pass content of your Newbcast gaming experience.
Careful, Dizzy, you might get fired by IGN.
Oh.
I guess I can take the lead here because I played 2 games.
You did?
I mean, I played more, but I played 2 games specifically for this podcast. One was We Happy Few. Gearbox gave me a code for that, and so I checked it out, and it's surprisingly pretty dang fun. Aside from all the controversy that Gearbox and the other dev, I cannot remember the name for some reason. It's a great game. Like, I really enjoyed it. I played 8 hours of it on stream. People really enjoyed it. There's fun ragdoll physics with dead bodies, so I was playing catch with one and then dropped one on its head.
Compulsion games.
Thank you. Compulsion games. There was a point where I walked into a house and it had a stripper pole, and it had a sign that said, "It's totally not a stripper pole. This is absolutely not a pole to dance on." And then I was like, "Oh, okay. Are you sure though? Because it really looks like there's like a chair and there's like decorations and lighting and stuff." And I'm like, "Are you sure? Are you sure that's not a stripper pole?"
It's a very elaborate fireman's pole.
Exactly. And then I turned to my left, and it just so happened there was a doorway in there, and in that doorway was actually a bedroom with a bed, and on that bed was a man. Hi. Just like that. So
just like you are on your bed right now.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. Just like I'm on a bed right now with PK, even though he's streaming. Yes.
That's talent.
I know.
That's a lot of preparation work to do that.
Mm-hmm. But so the game itself, aside from the controversy of price and DLC and stuff, I actually really enjoyed it. There were like a few little frame drops here and there, but I think it was also because I was streaming, but it shouldn't do that.
Question.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I heard from Angry Centaur Gaming, actually, the guy was commenting being a lot of detail dropping down significantly the further away you got, like characters actually dropping in frame rate depending on how far away they were. So,
oh, you mean like LOD, like animation?
Yeah, basically in blind distance, once the characters got far enough away that they was saying that they basically just had half the frames that they should.
I didn't notice that. However, there's either a lot of foliage or you're in a city, so you have like a very long, like I was gonna say hallway. It's a street with no cars. Well, there's some cars.
In little design terms, it is a hallway.
Yeah. So it okay. In my opinion, it's like pretty boring up until the point where you start taking drugs and tripping balls. That is where it.
See,
you start seeing butterflies everywhere. You throw up butterflies if you overdose. It's fantastic.
Isn't that when it gets better?
After taking the drugs or beforehand?
Wait, what?
Did you start fisting chickens before or after taking them?
Little column A, little column B. But yeah, like it's a very interesting game. Is it worth $60? I don't know. But then again, a lot of games really aren't worth $60 in my opinion. I paid like $58 for Monster Hunter World on a discount, and I love it, but it has its own problems, you know. But I definitely enjoyed We Happy Few. I was thinking about going back to it sometime this week, just because it's pretty fun, and I'm in the place where you just take all the drugs. So that's where I'm at. I'm like, drugs. There's a rubber cat suit. There was one point where I opened.
Are safe words involved?
No safe words. I found a dead body.
I would use a safe word after that. For sure.
Well, okay, so there's like this one house. There's like this one house thing that you walk into, and it's definitely it's a club, and So you find like this rubber cat suit, and you're like, oh, I guess I'll put it on or whatever, because you have to disguise yourself. So you put this rubber suit on. It's a cat suit, it's a gimp suit, and you go in and you just hear like, pop, bzz, ooh, and you're like, what the hell was that? And you hear it over and over again until you get upstairs, and there's a button. And you know me, I have to press buttons, so I pressed it, and there was a window, and the curtain revealed, and it was a woman hitting a dude in the butt with a shock stick, but he was in a rubber cat suit, so it didn't hurt him, but it shocked it. We looked at it for a couple of minutes.
I like that.
We looked at it for a couple of minutes. Just a few minutes. I had to go AFK, and then I closed it by pressing the button again, and then we went about our business. We Happy Few is fantastic. I love the humor in it.
Wow. I think it's wow.
There's something to be said for humor in a video game, like presented to you physically.
Like fetish exploration. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, when I walked into the game, I did not expect to find what I found of drug, sex, and rock and roll, except for there was no rock and roll. There's a lot of like, once you take your joy, your hands go as you're walking, like you're really happy. When you're not on joy, you're just kind of like, Also, I don't know what it is with games. You don't have a torso or body, so when you look down, you just see the ground. But
I
you
love that.
Occasionally have hands, and you're like, where did these come from?
The random floating arms.
One guy from Jedi Knight 1.
Who are these?
Jedi Knight 1. He's got arms. He has no legs.
Those are the best.
So yeah, I only have one bullet point for We Happy Few, because I really haven't played it. I've only played it 8 hours. I really like the game, and it has some frame drops.
Okay.
And aside from like the $60 price point and the weird DLC thing that they did with the I forget what it's called, like the Jolly Brawly, I think. It's fun. Maybe if you don't feel like spending $60 on that game, just wait. It'll go on sale. It's a good game for like a cheaper point, a cheaper price point.
Wasn't it originally supposed to be less than that?
It was supposed to be 30.
Yeah.
30.
So what happened is Compulsion Games did like a Kickstarter. They got the money for it, and then Gearbox bought them out. So they had a price point set at $30. Gearbox bought them, and then immediately raised the price to $60 because Gearbox is a AAA title, developed publisher or whatever. So that's the controversy. People are pissed off because they kickstarted a game that was supposed to be 30 and is now 60 with no additional content after Gearbox acquired Compulsion Games, and they're doing DLC.
To be fair to them, though, they basically made like at least 2 different games over the course of developing it, so I can kind of see them trying to make that. I mean, seriously, the game that We Happy Few was when it first was in early access was so abysmal that people didn't want to touch it. It was essentially the opposite of what it is right now. They're currently trying to figure out a way to do it as it used to be properly, as a free mode for the new version, because they basically just strip everything out, rebuild it from scratch, come up with a story that they didn't have, and they ended up making 3 stories on top of story DLC that's apparently coming in the season pass. And so it's like, I can kind of understand why some behind the scenes things happened. Also, we're talking about the $60 price point. I completely agree, because realistically, developers get about $20 out of that if it's an ideal situation. The rest of it is all going to like just the shipping, the publisher, to all the different stuff, that the marketing. And We Happy Few has had a lot of marketing ever since Gearbox jumped on board. Before that, if you knew about indie games, you knew about We Happy Few. Otherwise, it was pretty much just word of mouth. As soon as Gearbox they had live action ads and everything, so it's not completely shocking. It still was a really dumb idea on top of a number of ideas that Gearbox has had that have not gone out so well, but I can understand it.
What are you talking about? Canadians, Colonial Marines.
Yeah. As a business perspective, it's really interesting because Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. That here's the cut that's going out to the marketing, here's the cut that's going to other things, and this is what happens when you have a big producer.
Whereas you have something like Hellblade, which is just one small studio paying 20 people for like a couple of years' work. So as a result, Hellblade was only $30, and that doesn't be growing as a price point.
That was my game of the year last year.
Even Square Enix is actually doing that now with their really weird game, The Quiet Man, which honestly looks like it's going to be the next Mind Jack of their games lineup, but still, they have actually said it's going to be only 3 hours long and that it's going to be focused at a lower price point. It seems that publishers have finally caught on that you can play around below this price point. It's like a return to the PS2 era in that respect. There's a realization that, oh, we don't actually have to put all the money in. We could just let, say, Tomb Raider just be about exploring tombs instead of getting into pitched cover-based gunfights like it's Gears of War. So that's encouraging, but also, yeah, I still agree that We Happy Few shouldn't have gone up to 60. I can understand 40. 40 would have been understandable after everything that happened.
Yeah. I think most fans would have been annoyed, but they would have been like, I get it. Probably not. So you know how the gaming.
Plus,
there would have been a huge outrage.
Death threats.
Yeah.
you know, Gearbox and Compulsion Games got death threats because the price point went up. Like,
I'm sure.
So stupid.
I got told to die in a grease fire because I didn't like Uncharted 2. Everybody wants to tell everybody else to die, apparently, on the internet.
Jeez. People.
I don't. The internet is a nice place. Hi, nice people.
Dizza has this own he's got his own little box, right? And it's like a little tiny little sphere of nice people, and no one comes in. You're very lucky.
I mean, I'm not saying that other people won't do it. I don't wish that upon anyone.
No, it's stupid.
Yeah, it really is. What about that other game that you've been playing, Hippo?
Oh, I hear it's like this little indie. It's made by this little indie studio.
Got lots of cats.
Yeah, it does have lots of cats.
But not suits.
No, not this one. Not this one. I am, however, a fan of cats. Palicos, in fact. Monster Hunter World, I have put in 60 hours since it was released. And I know people who've put in a hell of a lot more. I have opinions on this one. I actually have opinions, you guys.
Fire away.
You do?
Well, yes. 60 lightweight. So, okay, the game itself is fantastic. It is the combat very fun. I really enjoyed I enjoy the gun lance. I get to poke things, shoot things, and block things. It's great. However, the models for the gunblade hideous, absolutely hideous. It's just like this giant. Okay, so think of a lance, right? Like a giant lance, but has a revolver cylinder on it, and then it breaks in half and then floats on your back, and then your shield is on your right, and it just sticks to your arm no matter what you do or where you go. You just walk around with this the shield on your arm.
So, question: can you have cat armor in this? Because
absolutely, you craft pelico armor.
Okay, so you can become Revolver Ocelot.
You could. There are no revolvers. However, there are machine lances. I don't know what
machine
they really are.
Lances.
Yeah, they shoot. It's basically a minigun. It's fantastic. I love it. There's also a bow and arrow that shoots 3 arrows if you charge it. There's 16 weapons. One is like a hunting horn. One is bagpipes.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
You just said the thing that's most sold me on Monster World Hunter. I mean, like, everybody's been trying to get into this. That's the most appealing thing right now.
maybe wait. It's like $60.
Oh yeah, I'm in no rush. I never got hype, but just like bagpipes is a weapon I can get behind.
Yeah, I've never tried them before because I don't know. I really should check this out, but I found my happy place with the gun lance. It is so good for soloing things. I just poke it, and then block, and just poke it in the face and then block. It's great. It's fine. It's fantastic.
That's the most passive-aggressive weapon possible.
However, it is a port. It has problems. It currently maxes out at 60 frames per second with like the default settings. It maxes my GTX 980 Ti occasionally. My Coffee Lake 8700 will pop up to 100% once in a while.
It shouldn't do that.
No. Also, there are some issues with the UI, and by issues I mean it's really confusing and awful. It's definitely a console. Like they upgraded the UI for PC, and it's still like, how the hell do I invite my friends to my instant? How do I do anything? It's all like you have to press escape and go through like a little bar to, it's not good. It's not good. That needs reworking completely.
What is that about PC ports? Like I've seen this happen in other games where it's like the developers have never seen anyone use a keyboard and mouse in gaming ever. They use every button on the planet besides the ones that you would actually use.
It is meant for a console, and it's a direct port.
Oh, I get that. Gotcha.
But the load times, fantastic. I don't even have it on a solid state drive. Boom, like 5-10 seconds, it's instantly loaded into the game. It's great. The graphics definitely, I don't know if you guys, I don't know how, I haven't really looked into this very much, but there's something about console graphics that has like a weird blue sheen to it or something. I don't know what it is, but when I look at it, I can tell it's not meant for PC. Like the textures are a little fuzzy. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's something I can do about that. I'm not quite sure. But it runs mostly at 60 frames. When there's a lot of stuff happening and there's a lot of people in the instance and lots of particle effects and stuff are happening, it drops to like 45. There's matchmaking error. Unfortunately, my buddy Girk and I were playing, and he couldn't load in sometimes, and apparently this is a problem with a lot of people, where you are in an instance and one person goes and then the other person can't join in, and then the only way to do that is for one of the people to restart their game. And we all know restarting a game, what are you talking about? Get out of here.
Who does that?
Right. I definitely have noticed some weird things. Like at the very beginning, when I first fired up the game, you have to restart it if you wanted to change from full screen to windowed mode. That is very special. That's a console feature, I guess, a console port feature.
Definitely not slapped on at the last minute.
Yeah. Oh, and okay, one of my biggest gripes with this game, right? It's a $60 game. Only, I would say, I wouldn't even say half of it is voice acted. Now, this isn't the big deal, but it's something that if I'm paying $60 freaking, I feel that it should be voice acted, and it isn't. You get like what you'll have to click through like a whole sentence, and the like character will occasionally say something like default like blah, 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 and you're like, oh my god, I've heard you say that like 6 times, please stop. You know, that kind of stuff. So aside from that, it's a fantastic game. I really like the combat. The maps are freaking huge. They're very detailed. Crafting is very confusing because of the UI, but very in-depth. There's so much to the game, but it's also like hidden behind awful UI.
So maybe because I know this isn't the only game that does that, but there's a case of there's certain games that come out of Japan that are definitely Japanese-based games, right? That are there's so many different languages that the game gets translated into. Is it just a case of maybe they couldn't afford to translate all of the languages?
Sure well, I mean, you would expect it to be English at least, like Japanese and English I would feel like if I'm gonna release a game, Japan, I'd probably want to have like a full voice acted thing for them as well. For $60,
these thing too. It's when it's half there that is even more annoying because you know that there is voice acting.
Yeah,
but
that's the
not
problem.
there so much. It's actually worse than if there wasn't any.
Yeah. So it's not a huge thing, but it is one of those little things that like just once you notice it, it's in your face, and you're never gonna not notice it.
Thanks for ruining it for us, by the way.
You're welcome. Like the whole game itself is great. Like I said, I've spent 60 hours in it, and I'm going to spend at least another 60, at least. I have yet to play with 4 friends or 3 different friends, so I've only played with one person, and it ramps up in difficulty quite a bit.
Sure.
Very monster spongy. You got to hit them a lot, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, it's a good game overall. I really enjoy it. If you like those types of games like Dauntless, which another Monster Hunter type inspired game, definitely check that out. It's not in depth as much.
I have it downloaded. I still haven't played it.
If you don't like that type of game, then you're not gonna like that type of game.
But I have Monster Hunter 3 on my Wii U. Like, don't get me wrong. I enjoy it.
You could actually co-op. I got it on sales recently.
See?
So, I've heard that Monster Hunter World is compared somewhat regularly to the Dark Souls series. How do you feel about that comparison?
It's kind of like that, in that you have to bounce around, you have to, you kind of learn the attacks and stuff like that.
Be right back.
So you kind of bounce around, you dodge depending on what weapon you have, you can block, that kind of stuff. So it is, the combat style is very similar, so I can see that, but it's not Dark Souls. Certain attacks from bosses can mess you up though. Definitely. I've been one shot before, but most of the time it's like, you get hit 15 times and you can heal in the middle of combat, but a gripe, you have to put your weapon away to drink a potion, to eat a thing. And the fantastic thing about the game, to eat, you just go with a giant drumstick in your face. It is, you just smack it into your face. It is so good.
Wait.
So basically the Renaissance Fair for me. Yeah.
How does that go? Okay, just checking. Just checking. Wow.
But yeah, and I guess off Monster Hunter, I know the chat has been talking about it. The Discord Hype Squad emailed me letting me know that there is going to be a storefront on Discord.
Oh yeah,
like
but
Steam.
That's not a rumor though. I knew about that as well. Yeah, I got the same email.
It's not a rumor. Yeah, it's 100%.
It's a real thing.
Yep. Is that? When does that go live though?
Oh, it's only going live for, I think they said 5 or 50,000 Canadians. It's only in Canada. And these people who get drafted into that, they get
Canadian
Discord
land?
Nitro. Yes, Canada. They get Discord Nitro for free for like a month or something like that to test out all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you get all kinds of perks and stuff for being a Nitro user, which is pretty cool because I'm already one. So.
Oh, la-di-da, look at you.
I can have GIF emotes.
I feel like I should pass you a monocle or something.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Because I'm made of money. I'm American. I don't need a monocle.
Or a top hat. Give him a top hat.
Yes, or a top hat. But yeah, so that's happening. We don't know exactly when it's rolling out for the rest of the world. But it is happening in Canada only right now.
I think if you're going to choose a place to start it off, have it in Canada, where when things don't work well, they'll just very quietly say, well.
So.
They'll just have a sign. I am unhappy.
I'm unhappy. I'm sorry.
I'm slightly upset.
I'm slightly upset. I'm sorry that I'm upset, but.
Yeah.
say, speaking of new storefronts, how do I feel about different game publishers creating their own
Did
storefront?
Raptor just come in?
Dino Elijah.
Alan.
I was gonna say wait to derail it, but I mean we don't have rails. This show has been everywhere since the very beginning.
You were saying.
Jeez.
Yes, please continue, Michelle.
No, so
It's just constant fireworks.
we're talking about the fact that Discord is going to have their own storefront is in Canada and whatnot. But what about the fact that other like game publishers are also getting into that, where they're doing their own games and whatnot?
Bethesda now.
That's kind of where I was going with that. Yep. So, in case you guys don't know, Fallout 76 is coming out. When it comes out, will not be on Steam. You have to get it from the Bethesda launcher.
I think it's a big risk.
I would agree.
It's Bethesda. It's Fallout. It's a multiplayer Fallout.
Yeah, and I like Fallout, and my immediate gut instinct is, well, I'm probably not going to get that for an extended period of time because I'm not going to spend that effort because I am extremely lazy getting their system so that I can play their game.
I mean, I'm not gonna really even defend them, but I just it's not that big of a deal. I use other stuff like I personally I upgraded to Windows 10 specifically to use the Windows Store because I knew that State of Decay 3 was coming out only on Windows. I knew that Sea of Thieves was. I mean, this is my job, so I kind of have to be on top of this stuff. So since it's my job, I don't really feel it is a little annoying, but it's not like it's not going to make me stop buying things so that I can stream them for entertainment purposes and to show people what is happening with that game.
Yeah.
I guess
I definitely understand it. I definitely understand the like from my perspective, it's like I don't really care. I'm gonna play what people want to watch. But from a consumer perspective, it's just annoying because there's like so many. We're gonna have like 15 different storefronts and all that. Well, I mean, storefronts
for each one.
Oh, see, and that's just it, right? So, there's what? There's the Ubisoft launcher. There's Origin. There's Steam. Now there's the Bethesda launcher.
I mean, that's been around. Bethesda's been around for a while, like with their launcher.
EA's been around for...
Yeah, they're all been around, right? But the fact that we're starting to see that where they're pulling off of Steam and having it on their own launcher.
Well, I mean, okay. As somebody who actually enjoys having everything in one place, Steam has way too much power. Way too much power.
No arguments. No arguments.
None.
Dividing it all up into every single publisher has their own thing is what's happening with streaming services right now. Whereas it was Netflix, Hulu, and Xfinity fighting, that was great. Everybody was getting great content. Now they're just churning up everyone. Disney's going to have a thing, and CBS still thinks that CBS All Access is actually going to happen, just like Ubisoft thinks that Uplay is going to happen. And I just... And the thing is, you know that these individual platforms are not going to have sales. They are going to be very minimal. I'm still amazed that Overwatch ever went down to $20 on Battle.net because it's just going to keep happening. And the fact that there's not someone providing any kind of oversight is another issue. When it was Valve overseeing a lot of it, there was and the thing is, some retail sites still do that. Like GOG is from what I understand, they're very good about oversight when it comes to a lot of games. They let people know in advance when a license is going to drop out, unlike certain publishers who will just put it on sale really cheap and then it's gone.
Yep.
Activision. But but it just, there's so many problems. There's so many things. And actually, I really don't want to seem to harp on it, but Activision, again, is one of my biggest concerns because they have some of the biggest franchises and they don't like to ever put anything on sale, but Steam kind of pushes for that. And if they're on their own platform, no one can tell them to do that. It might come down to the point where the console versions are the only that are actually coming out cheaper.
Yeah.
From a business perspective, like, keeping it on your platform means that you don't have to give. That's the thing. That's why they don't want it on Steam. Steam takes money from them.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the whole motivation behind EA back in the day, is that they and BioWare didn't want to give away the DLC for Mass Effect, so they just put it on their own service. They kept trying a couple different things until Origin.
Well, so okay, from a business standpoint, it absolutely makes sense, right? Steam's not getting their own cut. You get to control when the sales happen, etc. Right? There's something to be said about users. From a user standpoint, here's the inconveniences, right? Everything's no longer centralized. You have how many new accounts that you have to manage, and of course have different passwords for every single one of them.
What if somebody were to just come up with a universal one where it like builds these things into the like? There's like applications that you can use for stuff like that. There are, but they tend to be either flaky.
Or
it still is a hassle.
Or they disappear. I mean, look at Raptor. Raptor was just that, but they don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
right?
It takes money to manage those sorts of things,
yep.
And the whole idea is developers aren't going to give those people that money. I am curious to see the long-run benefit to having everything in its own platform. One thing that I think of on the business perspective that I am totally guilty of this, having Steam, is that I look at related games all the time
yep.
to make a number of purchases. If your platform is no longer working with Steam or GOG or any other cross-platform or cross-developer options, then all of a sudden this ability to reach out to me in a way that you couldn't do otherwise is taken away from you.
Yeah.
I am less likely to purchase your product. You can do this as a larger developer and maybe get away with it to a certain extent, but I'd love to see how those numbers actually turn out, because I don't think it's as beneficial on the P&L side because of that.
Also, one more thing, the publishers that have done best with having their own individual storefronts typically still cross-brand. Like Origin, the reason that EA Access is taking off so well is because they're getting stuff from THQ Nordic. They're getting it from, my gosh, why can't I think of that? They got the Obsidian's stuff. They've got stuff like Europa Universalis. And Square Enix, similarly. Square Enix has their own storefront, but they actually try to outdo Steam when they have sales, and they constantly are trying to work with other digital networks. You get the games from them, but they still redeem on Steam.
Yep.
They're a lot better about it. So the two that are currently doing the best about it are working with everyone else, whereas say like Uplay tries to not play with anybody. I mean, even
yeah,
I went through like a month-long saga trying to get my Steam copy of Assassin's Creed 3 to be recognized as being owned by me because Ubisoft wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had issues with that stuff too. And as a content creator, if I can't play your game, you're not making money. Like, you want people to play your game so that you get money. People are gonna go check your game out. Assassin's Creed, some people are like die hard about that game.
Yep.
Other people not so much. So you're gonna get a lot more if I can play your game and get my community in. And that's the thing, is my community knows exactly what I like, and they like the exact same thing or roughly the exact same thing.
Most
and
of
so
the time.
they're more likely to buy it. They're more likely to buy it, especially if you work with me as a game dev or a publisher. If you work with me, I can get your game sold, you know, because if I'm playing something like, I don't know, The Sims or something, you know, like I have a huge community who loves The Sims. I have a huge community that loves City Skylines. Like, if we play those games on stream, at least one of those people is probably going to go buy it if they don't have it. Like, I know people who come in and they're like, oh my god, I've been wanting to get this game. I'm here to look at this game, and you are showing me and you're making me want to buy this game because you're having so much fun, and you're making silly things like a poo lake. We made a poo lake.
Oh god, I remember lake. That was such a
know,
shitty lake, Hippo.
You're so funny.
I know, I try. Guys, I'm here. I'm here all night, guys. You know, it's interesting because it's not just publishers too, I suppose. I think about it because Twitch is in this game too. Not only that, but as affiliates and partners, if you buy the game from Twitch, if you were to go down below, there's usually a link if you can buy the game from Twitch, and then
wait, you can buy a talk show on Twitch?
Yes. No.
Show the video game.
$25 directly to PayPal at Hipponanymous.com. Just saying.
But
Also,
I mean, there's just that many. There is just that many, and there's that many people trying to get their name in the hat. And how many of them are being friendly to one another and allow? I want to see more consumer friendliness involved with this. Like, I understand the business standpoint and fully support it. Not only that, but the other big thing that I support is the fact that these businesses, by competing with one another, drives to what am I trying to think here?
Quality?
Competitiveness.
Competitiveness, right?
Yeah.
It drives it to be competitive. It drives quality. It drives everything about it to be better. Because I think we can all agree Steam does have too much power, and we've seen some crap because of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is that Steam has just been so content that they
I agree.
But
I said that too.
I'm still worried that everybody fighting on their own isn't going to be the same thing as a united front pushing against us. That's my main concern.
Steam has, for I would say a good at least 5 to 8 years, kind of just been meh. And then now, so we had Discord show up, right? Boom, game changer. We didn't know it was going to be a game changer because everyone's like, oh, it's a Skype killer. You know, how many other programs were like that? So Steam was like, oh, we should get on that. But they were 3 or 4 years too late. This new UI is terrible. Like, I mean, whatever. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's pretty bad. And
the storefront's really hard to navigate.
Yeah,
ICQ had it perfect.
Have you guys seen the streamers on the storefront? It's always like one dude with like 400 views, and then the next person's got like 5.
Yeah.
It's like, this is terrible. No one's actually doing this. But so I feel like they just kind of stopped being innovators, and they were content. They were like, you know what? We don't need to push. We don't need to keep pushing the market because we're number one.
We are the market.
We got where, yeah, exactly. We got to the point where everyone else has to work with us, and we're good.
Right.
And then Discord comes along, and they're like, oh, hey, here's a chat client. Here's a video client. Oh, yeah. So we took over, TeamSpeak and Skype, and now we're going to work on taking over Steam. We're going to have all of your stuff in one place. And actually, now that I think about it, the new stuff for Discord actually pretty much launches any game. I don't know if you guys have seen that. If you go to the, the activity or something like that?
Yeah.
You can launch different games from different clients. Actually, if you've already launched it before.
See if I can do this quick. Oh, no, it's not going to work because of my overlay. Never mind. I can't show that. I don't think. Maybe. No, I can't. No, but you're right in that regard. I think one of the big things that I hope that we see from Discord and these other storefronts that maybe will help Steam get better is actually curating.
that costs money to get people, real human beings, to curate. That's why they did
money.
That's why they
can it be worth it?
Well, they already have the curation. They opened it to everybody, so anyone can curate.
Because that's worked.
It is different, though.
Oh, I agree. It's a very lazy, cheap attempt at curation.
They're even
because they don't have standards anymore.
No, they don't. I mean, that's how you ended up with a Bitcoin miner in a game.
Oh God, I read about that.
Yeah. I mean, there is zero attempt. And of course, the people that do curate, it's all crowdfunded. What power do they have? Don't get this game because it's a virus. It's a Trojan. Don't get it. But Steam still has to take it off their storefront.
Yeah.
If there was actual curation that was done, I mean, because of that, like right now, Origin isn't that bad. Right? Like,
yes, okay, someone else gets it. Yes, like, I don't really like a lot of what he, but Origin, depending on what you're going for, actually kind of doesn't suck.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially since they're the only really good subscription service for gaming right now, except for Humble Monthly.
Well, and I think maybe that just is the growing pains, because there was once upon a time Steam also sucked. anyone that did Half-Life 2 or Portal 1 when that first launched got to experience sucky Steam.
You know what? I didn't even join Steam until I think it was like 2008. So, and I actually made a different account. I had an account, and then I was like, this is dumb. And then I forgot the password and all that stuff. And then I made another one.
Yes.
Actually, never mind. I had I actually know what you're talking about, because believe it or not, I got into Steam like 2 days before the user interface update when they came to the one before this one. I remember because it was like, oh, well, okay, I can navigate this. This isn't great, but it's okay. And it's like, everything's suddenly different, and all I did was go to sleep. That timing.
Yeah, you know, something that bothers me actually is when you go to the storefront and it's all just like recommended for you, and it's like, well, what is actually new? What's really new? What's actually a bestseller or whatever? Like, instead of what my interests are, you know? Like, what I want to see what's actually being sold, not what's like. I mean, obviously,
what's being sold to me. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Like, I want to see what's going on. And then when they made that change, I was like, I guess I'm gonna have to go look up release dates for stuff, and it was really frustrating.
Or rely on podcasts to do release date. Oh wait, they don't do that anymore either.
For good reason.
Yeah, right. Because there's so much stuff, and it's a mess.
It's garbage. You have to sift through all the garbage games. As a like I said before, as a content creator, that's my job. I have to go through upcoming games and find something that might be a gem, and most of the time I have to say it's garbage and it's bad, and these games that are being made aren't gonna go anywhere. They're gonna sell like maybe 2 copies. I mean, there's literally games about poo, and I mean, whatever, it could be funny, but it's not. That's the thing. It's very low bar. Like, I'm a 17-year-old kid in high school who's just, this is my first thing that I'm working on, and that's it. And it's like, well, I'm not gonna get a code for that and play it on my channel because this is garbage and I don't even know if it'll launch, you know? I don't know if you guys have gone through these games on different sites, but it's like, I would rather just email the PR department at a game that I want to play instead of going through all these, because I'm literally going through hundreds and hundreds of games at least like once or twice a day, like, because I want to find something good. And it, you know, being a content creator, you have to be on top of it, and so it's very you have to check different websites, and Steam is just throwing just trash at everyone. They're like, buy this game, it's $50 or 50 cents. Like, no.
And actually, to bring that back to an earlier point about whether or not they should have curators, Itch.io has curators.
It does.
Itch.io, which, you know, they don't have half the budget.
Exactly.
They have so many more garbage games getting thrown at them. So many first games that I made.
The games that I'm talking about. The garbage games.
When I go to their storefront, I'm immediately like, I need to hide my wallet because you're making me want to spend money, because they bring the best stuff to storefront. It's like, yes, look, creativity, innovation. It's like as if, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And it's like, without, like I said, without so many of the resources that Valve has, they're doing that. Despite having probably more games being uploaded a day.
Well,
yeah,
so, competitive advantage.
I don't work at Valve. I don't know their finances, but I feel like they could probably do something. They have very, very smart people. Many people who are much smarter than me working there. So I feel like they could do something.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well,
I mean, I think the bar low, but
maybe by doing that we can also prevent like people that throw games like Bad Rats at everyone. And
yeah, I would love it if we got rid of all of those people who throw Bad Rats at everybody. Oh my gosh,
those people named Michelle. Not saying this one that's with us, but I'm just saying.
No,
just a blanket statement about all Michelles.
Yeah.
Go. We could do without them.
Are you making a blanket statement?
Well.
Wait, are you making a blanket? Wow, Hippo. Wow.
All hashtag every Michelle.
I swear, if I see that trending on Twitter somehow.
It wouldn't be, I mean, as a matter of return on investment, I think it would be very easy for Steam to be like, oh, I'm going to get 3 or 4 people, have them focus in on like one genre each, and have a presentation that is designed for that, for the shop, once a month or so. Hey, here's good new content, and here's why. Like, that's worth the investment that they would put in, if nothing more than just for pure sales, not to mention keeping people loyal to Steam. Like, that's something that they have to seriously consider now.
Even token efforts can actually have an impact. It's how you use them.
I mean, I agree. I as somebody who uses Steam every single day of my life, even if I'm not streaming, I would really like some better mechanics or features or whatever you call them. You know what I mean?
Innovation.
Words are hard, okay? Just do something with your storefront. It's terrible. Like I have to download. I downloaded a
better GUI.
Yeah, a better UI because it's terrible.
Yep.
That doesn't crash when you try to open a page. That would be great too.
Thankfully, I don't have that issue, but my girlfriend definitely has had that issue a lot. So,
moving on, we have 2 things left that we could discuss if we want to go ahead and do those. There was some discussion about Nintendo recently as well.
I suggested this one.
I don't know anything about this.
I got a little, like, I've got the abridged version, so let's hear it from the unabridged gamer.
Hey, like I said, comedy A game, bringing it.
You know, the thing is as I was saying the abridged version, I didn't realize, it was like, wait a minute. Shit. Yeah. No, honest.
Wait, you did not plan that. You did not plan that one bit.
You've gone a bridge too far.
I did not play, because I will say that when I say I get the short version, I say I got the abridged version. So, Elijah, take it away.
Okay, so here's the thing that needs to be laid out, is that game ROMs and piracy in that, very legally gray issue depending on what country you're in. In the US, it's very much frowned upon. In Canada, it's just sort of like if you're using it for personal use, whatever. Same thing deal with Poland. I'm not trying to make a statement here about whether or not that is okay. I do think games preservation is okay, which is why this issue is of concern to me, because a lot of games publishers don't really worry about that. Case in point, the Silent Hill HD collection, okay? We saw how that went. And there are actually better intact versions of it being shared online by people to this day, which is really sad, but it's where we're at. Nintendo has apparently decided to go to war against this one ROM place because they had Nintendo ROMs. And the best guess is this is because of them planning on finally bringing some sort of virtual console-like to the Switch, because that's finally on the horizon in the near future. And I did
actually hear about that.
Yep.
Yeah, and they actually led to one of the safest sites. Like, pretty much everyone on my Twitter feed is going like, oh no, not this one, MU Paradise, who were actually very good about making sure there wasn't malware, who were just about... the guy was from India. He started the project because he wanted to be able to experience games that weren't available in his area. He wanted to just share that. It was just enthusiasts. There wasn't actually a malicious intent. Nobody was making money off of this, from what I understand. But they folded before Nintendo even said anything, just because they were terrified of what would happen. And this gets even more complicated when you know that Nintendo has used pirated ROMs in their virtual console games that they have charged people money for.
Sure.
So there's multiple layers of this not feeling okay. And you can understand from an IP holder standpoint why you want to defend your IP, why you don't want people sharing it freely. Absolutely. But a lot of these things aren't being shared at all, and the only way to get it is a scalper if you want to actually just buy it, which is a serious issue in this industry as well. So it's
the
multiple layers of assholery happening here, and just really not good stuff. And Nintendo is not flinching on this because it's Nintendo. They don't care. They're just going to keep doing what they're going to do. But now a whole bunch of sites that were actually preserving a lot of games, not in the most legally ideal way, but were preserving a bunch of games, are gone. And like, I was surprised. There are actual games press sites that were going, this sucks. Like big ones, like Kotaku and like PC Gamer, were just going, nobody's winning from this.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it just keeps being an issue is a thing. And part of it comes down to just copyright law in certain countries is still incredibly outdated and not built for the internet age. But in general, it's just a train wreck of decisions that are just... Well, I can understand, once again, why you would do this. It mostly is hurting people who weren't going to even be affected by it to start with. Whereas the people who were actually going to buy it on Switch were going to buy it on Switch anyway. So it's just... It's a mess.
It really is, and you're right. And I mean, the whole idea is like, well, you're pirating it. Well, can you prove that that person who pirated an
like a ROM?
just a ROM in general, was going to buy the game otherwise? Can you prove that without unreasonable doubt that was going to happen?
Yeah, I mean,
And on the other side,
there's one more detail I forgot to leave out, is that there's actually been recent studies into online piracy because of just how prevalent they are, okay? Here's the irony. They've actually found that people who are willing to go to the lengths of pirating a game are way more likely to actually buy the game if it's available.
Yes.
It's extra mind-boggling. They're basically leaving money on the table by not even really releasing these things and just making it so it's harder to access them. They're making the situation worse instead of more ideal for themselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, back in my day when I was a kid, I had pirated games, and they would come out with patches and stuff, and you're like, oh my god, I have to go find this patch, and now I have to figure out how, and it's like just so much easier to go buy the game as long as it's easy to access, like that's why Steam is so... Yeah, exactly. Also, part of the reason why I would do these things is because I would like to check the game out, because they nixed demos completely.
Yep.
They nixed them. There was no demo, so it's like, is this game even gonna run on my computer? Like, yeah, here's a specific like recommendations and all that stuff for your specs, but is it really gonna run?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I would go and buy the game because it's so much easier to just buy the game and not have to go find another possibly malware-ridden update. It's like, screw that. I'd rather not take that risk, and I'd rather just buy it on Steam or buy it on another platform, and it'll just update, and I won't have to worry about that ever.
Yep.
And then I started getting into streaming, and I was like, I should probably not stream pirated game, because if a dev does show up, they can probably easily tell if it's a pirated copy or not. So I'd rather just give them the money, support them, and we all have a good relationship,
Yeah. Well, I think one of the big challenges is there are some very legitimate reasons why one might want to use a copy of a game on the internet for a variety of purposes. So say you're streaming a game and like you're speedrunning it, for example, being able to mod a copy of that game so that you can go through specific things, learn specific mechanics, that sort of thing makes sense. It's not taking away from the value of the game. The vast majority of the time in those situations, you already have multiple copies of the original game. You have a reason to have the intellectual property that is in front of you. When you have already purchased a copy of it, what harm is it doing? Or in those situations where, once again, nothing is being possibly made by the company because the material's out of print, they're not planning on making other copies of this game anywhere.
It's being sat upon.
And it's literally a not hurting anyone situation until they decide that they want to release it out.
Mm-hmm.
I think the counter argument to what's the harm is that you're not giving them an extra, purchase. Also, for the record, if anybody is in the chat and you are a caster and you're like up and coming or whatever, don't use ROMs on Twitch. It's against the TOS. They recently updated, like I think probably 6 or 8 months ago or something like that.
Something like that.
Don't do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, one of the things that I keep talking about is I really want to do the original Final Fantasy, the NES version. And it's like, well, I could do that through a ROM. And then it's like, no. I mean, I know I own the cartridge. I own it. I've got the Virtual Console version on the Wii. And I can't tell you how many versions of the game I've got on different platforms. But because of the TOS and just the chance that there's some type of curation, I don't even know if it would be curation or just someone from their PR, their community center that would just be like, this doesn't look quite right.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to want to do that, especially if you're doing things like what you're talking about, Dizza, was like speedrunning and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because there's speedrunners that learn on Twitch, right? Like they make that to live stream. They're like, we're learning how to do the speedrun, and it's like, you can't do that anymore. That's not a thing.
And there's also the case of if you want to record something. Like, back when I wanted to do my original review for Elite Squadron, I had to work out this really asinine way to get my PSN copy on my PC so that I could record it. Because occasionally there is a legitimate way to do it, but they make it so hard. And if they didn't make it that hard, then I actually think you'd see more sales. If you actually just sold me a PSN Classic that I could run on my emulator, sweet, great. That's not another PS1 game I need to track down and rip or whatever.
Yeah.
Or in some cases, just
It's ease of access over piracy.
Yep.
But until there's
The reason why piracy was such a big deal was because it was easy. You could just go and get a torrent.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now it's like Steam is right there.
Yeah. And the fact is, anybody who has a game that's out there that isn't actively being sold, if somebody is, getting a copy from somebody else, like you want to play like Secret of Mana before the SNES Classic came out, it wasn't being produced anywhere. You couldn't get easy access to it anywhere. You had to get an original cartridge, and you gave $120 to the person at a different location that has absolutely nothing to do with Nintendo, has absolutely nothing to do with Square. The company did not benefit from it, and yet a ROM is unacceptable in that situation. Like, there is no reason in those circumstances for the finance, like, there's no financial benefit for going down this path, but yet they decide to do so anyways. It's the possible future financial benefit. That's literally all you have on it at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of those games are actually going to come out? Like, I highly doubt that I'm going to see like a copy of Parasite Eve suddenly come up on the PlayStation. Or Parasite Eve 2. Parasite Eve 2 probably won't ever be touched.
No, I was about to say.
PS3, but yeah, it's nowhere else. The thing is, you don't even know that because they don't even advertise it when they do this sort of stuff. They never try to tout it, even though it's a selling point. Look at how the SNES and NES Classic sold. This is how eager people are to have these things. Star Fox 2 was a selling title in the past few years. And just like, it's not even apparently that good, but it was just that significant for people to finally have it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a tough choice to make.
Just put it out there. Just put it out there. Let people buy it, and there won't be a reason for the run. Like 80% of the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
We could sing that till we're blue in the face. So I feel like.
Yeah. I think that
people have been.
Expand into the other topic.
And we'll kick and scream and beg for it until we get a little bit more than what we actually should pay for answered to it. And that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for that peak moment where they can throw the title out and say, yeah, you can go and enjoy Star Fox 2. You're going to get it as part of this with every other game that you already own. And it's going to cost you $80, but go for it.
Mm-hmm. So, we had one more topic as a discussion topic. I don't know if we want to go into it because I think we've delved into a lot of other things. We can hold on to it because it is just a general discussion topic. So with that in mind, I think we're actually kind of getting close to the end of the show. But before we go, this is where we're going to sell out a little bit and talk about what we've got coming up on our channels.
I totally didn't sell out earlier.
No, none.
Especially not with your @Hipponanymous.
No.
Yes, Hipponanymous@gmail.com for, PayPal me that $25 and nothing. What?
That said, why don't we start with Elijah? What do you got coming up on your channel and stuff?
Okay, well, my life is still in chaos. I actually am happy to say that future content is actually coming together. I'm happy to say that there's actually some stuff that's up. It's going to be coming out not probably this month, but we'll see how soon in the future it comes out. In the meantime, as I am able to, my life is not schedule friendly right now, so I can't say what day, but I will be periodically streaming games that are terrible, but we're playing them anyway. You would actually see the first one with Fear 2. I apologize for the audio quality. I'm going to be working on that. But yeah, currently working through Fear 2, most likely Blood Knights next. Eventually we'll be playing some games that aren't terrible, but right now something to just yell at for being such a bad game and deconstructing it, very therapeutic. So that's on my Twitch channel, and I'm pretty much everywhere. I am the Unabridged Gamer, and on Twitter I am @ParadigmFallen because that username will haunt me till the day I die.
There we go.
And this shirt, can I actually talk about the shirt?
Sure.
Hey.
This is actually done by my mom. She's an artist. Look up Loophead Doodles. I don't know if we have this shirt up yet, but she does lots of really neat art, including stuff with goofy monsters and penguins that are in the winter.
Monsters? Did somebody say monsters?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Are you going to hunt down these shirts?
Yes.
Oh dear.
I'm gonna poke them with a gun blade or a gun lance.
Is that what you got coming up on your channel then soon, Hippo?
Yeah, that's what's.
No, I'm not streaming. I'm not streaming Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter.
Zip.
I guess I'll shill.
Chill.
Unless
Go.
Dizzo wants to chill.
Go. What do you got coming up on your channel, Hippo?
This week we're going to be doing oh gosh, what's it called? It's called Insomnia, the Arc. I got a code for that, and I have a giveaway. Green Man Gaming hooked it up. Thank you, GMG. Appreciate you guys. So we're gonna play that on at least like half a stream or so, instead of like at least 6 hours long. And then we're gonna do some Sims 4, more Vampire Bob Ross murdering women and people, just people in general. His wives, basically. That's a challenge. Don't look at me like that, chat. And then there's gonna be, I was thinking about revisiting We Happy Few because I really I was enjoying the storyline and rubber cat suits. And then we have another game that I'm not gonna say what we're gonna do on Friday for Friend Friday, but I'm going to be doing a giveaway for 2 of those copies of a game that will be announced on Friday.
Okay.
Because suspense. I don't know. If you want to find me, I'm Hipponanymous.
It must be an NDA, guys. It must be so important. It's an NDA.
Yeah, it's not NDA. It's out. It's on Steam. But yeah, Hipponanymous on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, other places. Hippo.wtf is my website. You can find literally everything there, and more information about the community.
There we go. Dizza, what do you got coming up?
I got a few things going on. Really, it's going to boil down to a lot of Dead Cells, a lot of Persona. Dead Cells is a lot of fun to play on the off days, and Persona 5, I've said that I'm going to finish it, and that means that I will be playing at least for the next 2-3 months. So
Fun.
Tuesdays and Thursdays and every Sunday that you are not here for the podcast, check out my Twitch at twitch.tv/Dizzy. We will be having a lot of fun. We will be a lot of shapeshifters at Post Masquerade, because the enunciation of that in the game is the one thing that kills me every single time I hear it. And we'll be having some fun, getting a lot of waifus, and then subsequently destroying their lives and their relationships with us. It will be beautiful. I mean, we have to. We have to. I can't romance the characters that I want to. So that's the way it's gonna be. We're just gonna make everybody extremely upset.
Fair.
If I can't be happy, ain't nobody gonna be happy.
Fair. Okay. I suppose it's my
How
turn,
about
right?
yourself? Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah.
All right. So coming up on Tuesday, we are doing Guild Wars Tuesday, where I do open world bosses. We might do some fractals. I'm usually joined by Hipponanymous for those. I also tell people not what to do. That is, prevent you from creating bad habits, because people in gamers have bad habits in that game, and I'm trying to break people of those habits. But there's a lot of cool stuff.
Mainly not resurrecting at
That's the big one.
Point.
That's the big one. If you get killed by a boss, please waypoint yourself.
You're a benevolent guide.
Right. So
Mostly because you can't PK.
because I can't PK. Right. So that's coming up on Tuesday.
It's true. Speaking from experience, even in games that aren't, PvP, she'll make them PvP.
I'll find a way. And then on Wednesday, we're gonna check out Verdant Skies.
That's a great game.
Got to meet the developers at 2DCon last weekend, which was really cool. They are now award-winning developers because they won an award there. And Verdant Sky looks really, really nice, so I can't wait to check that out. And that'll be on Wednesday. The following week, who knows? I'll just figure out when I get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So, as for the social networks, Miss Michelle Jean on everything, on Twitter, on Instagram, well, you're already on my Twitch, so we're good there.
I shouted you out anyway, just saying.
In case you guys aren't sure where you're at, make sure to drop.
Please follow.
Please make sure to drop follows on all four of us, because we'd love to be able to share our content with you. And yeah, I guess with that said, for the Unabridged Gamer, Hipponanymous, Dizzy, my name is Miss Michelle Jean. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.